Welcome to a new reading vlog. It's June 1st, starting in the first book of the summer, The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I took a couple of months off from filming these, so I'm really excited to start this next one and dive into summer reading. The pool is open. I'm gonna be tanning outside. It's just a whole different vibe. I've been looking forward to this one though, so let's get reading. It's the next night. I'm about 100 pages into The Villa and I am obsessed with it. So we're going to cozy on up on the couch, enjoy a nice glass of red wine, and read as much as I can. I also just set up this new light fixture. I don't know if it's going to stay here because I feel like it's really close to some other lights in the room, but I love it so much. I do like the way that it looks against the plant. The hanging part of the light, they all move, so you can adjust how you want them to hang. My favorite part about this though is that the dial adjusts so much, so it gets really bright, like honestly way too bright for what we need right now. Look at how dimmable it is. I think the vlog where I unboxed this is out by now, but if not, I'm going to link it down below. Again, a company on Amazon sent that over. I really love it. I like to cozy on up on the edge of the couch right here because it's close to the end table and read. So it's really nice to have additional lighting up here because it does get a little bit dark. Real quick, I want to talk about The Villa because this is screaming summer like mood reading. It takes place at a villa in Italy in the summertime, and that alone makes me feel like I need to be reading this in Italy right now, but the vibes are there. It reminds me almost of the way that Taylor Jenkins Reid tells a story, specifically in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, where she bounces between time periods. So this bounces between present day time when two best friends are staying at the villa to write their own books that are due to their own publishers. So I love that element of just like writers writing novels. And while they're staying in this villa, one of them starts to learn and investigate more about what happened at the villa decades beforehand. And then you time hop and you go back in time to the 1970s when the horrors and the murder and the mystery and everything that took place at this villa was unfolding. I'm hooked. I'm trying so hard to figure out what happened, and every single time I'm reading, I get a little bit more information about the murder. I don't want to explain it and give away too much, but I think this was the perfect book to start my summer reading off with. So far, about almost halfway through it, I would recommend this book to anyone. I think I'm going to give it to my mom when I'm done too, because I think she'll really like it. I also feel like if I give myself the time, I could finish this in like a day. So let's get reading. I've been here for 2 hours, but I've probably read for maybe an hour with how many phone breaks I was taking, but oh my god, it just got so good. Without spoiling anything, there's just so many like things in this plot that just are so freaking juicy. I just love a house with secrets. They're at a villa and there's so many hidden secrets. It's so good. It's the next day. I just finished the villa outside before it started raining, and oh my god, we need to talk about this. I absolutely devoured this book. It was so brilliant. I loved the time hops between timelines. There's so many various types of like sources in here. Like there's newspaper clipping articles, there's interviews, there's podcast transcripts, there's obviously just like the chapters. There's parallels between the two like girls in one timeline to the two girls and their dynamic and their relationship in like a different timeline. And the stories are so eerie and you get different, like both have like different endings. I don't know, it was just like the best little escape, and I'm a fan of Rachel Hawkins. If all of her books felt like The Villa, I need to read them. The vibes that this book had though, like it just felt like summer in Italy, and that's coming from somebody who's never been out of the country, but I was there. I was at the pool in this villa. I love the whole idea of like writers staying at a villa to write the next novel too, and I love that this was inspired by Percy and Mary Shelley staying at Lord Byron at the Lake Geneva Castle. Like that was so crazy. Yeah, it was just brilliant. I really enjoyed this story. I loved devouring it and escaping into it, and it's one that I seriously could not put down. I finished this in 3 days, but I only spent maybe like an hour or two each day reading. Probably more than that, but you know, I had to prioritize getting some other stuff done. I could have finished it faster is what I'm saying, but now it's like, damn, I don't want to move on. If you need one good book recommendation for the summertime, please consider reading The Villa. This is a 5-star read. It's one of those books that I feel comfortable recommending to any type of reader, regardless as to if you enjoy nonfiction, fiction, romance, whatever your genre is. Like this is so solid and overlaps in a couple different genres that I think anybody could easily enjoy it. It would also make a really great book club book because it's not so specifically niche. It is, but it's like, I just feel like anyone should and hopefully will enjoy it. It's one of those books too that after you finish it, you have to like go back and start to reread. I guess I will say I need to Google some stuff because it was so vague at the end that I think something was hinted, but I need to see what the internet is saying to make sure that I didn't miss anything important. First book of summer down, and it was a banger. Her new book says that it comes out early 2024, so I wonder if it's out yet. The Heiress, if this one is out, I'm buying it and I'm gonna read it. Good morning from Luna and me. My favorite time of the year to read is summer, so this is like the best thing in the world right now, to just be sitting outside on my balcony, drinking my morning iced coffee, and reading a good sapphic romance. It doesn't get better than this. This is the second book of the month that I'm reading, and I'm almost halfway through it. It's called Late Bloomer, and I am obsessed with this book. It is so cute. It's so well written. I feel very connected to both characters. I think I talked, Marnie, don't do it. My cat discovered how to jump into the flower pot hanging off my balcony, and it's the scariest thing in the world. Guess who's getting a cat leash? Marnie, come here. She's acting all like goofy, like I don't know she's about to jump. This is my first Maisie Eddings book that I've read, and I just love the way that she writes. She has other books, doesn't she? Yeah, she has four other books. So if the other ones are sapphic romances, I'm definitely going to read them, but I love the way that she writes. It's written well enough for like a rom-com romancy book where I'm like underlining certain things because it's just so cute. I relate to this book a lot. There is an underlining theme of discovering yourself later on in life and just coming out later on. Opal wins the lottery, and a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that in her life, so she decides to buy a flower farm in North Carolina, move there, start over. However, she bought it off of Facebook Marketplace and didn't realize that the person she bought it from, it's kind of hard to explain, but Pepper still lives on the farm and didn't know what to do and was going to be evicted. So then they agreed on sharing the farm until Pepper is able to buy her out. So, forced proximity, they're living together on a flower farm. If that isn't the cutest gay thing you've ever heard. Opal paints and Pepper runs a flower farm. So cute. The characteristics of Pepper remind me so much of like my own experience with this. Not like I've ever won the lottery or bought a flower farm, but you know what I mean. And that has elevated this so much because suddenly I am also a big fan of their dynamic and Pepper. Like, look at how cute they are. What I find really interesting about this book so far is that Pepper is autistic and Opal is neurodivergent, and I can kind of relate. I've never been like fully diagnosed, but like I can relate to a couple of those things that they both talk about, and it just adds so much to their character dynamic. Also, each chapter has like, I'll show you actually instead of showing you the cover. Oh my god. And I opened to chapter 17. 17 is like my lucky angel number, and Rose, right there, is my birth flower. It's June's birth flower, and I'm reading this in June, so I just feel like it is meant to be read right now. I could have finished this book 2 days ago, but I'm really savoring it because it is just so well done. I've tried so many sapphic romances in the last like 3 years. One Last Stop, Written in the Stars, all of the like Delilah Green Doesn't Care type of trilogy, and they were all so surfacey and really hard to like none of them hit. This is hitting. Like, this is finally what we need. It's so good. I love it. It's like 8 p.m., but I came to my pool to get some reading done for a little bit, and I squeezed in the last bit of sunlight before the bugs came out, and the bugs are getting really bad, so I am heading out. But I'm almost done with Women. Cannot put this down. It is like the sapphic version of Sally Rooney's A Conversation with Friends. Just so sad, but so relatable. If you've ever gone through anything with a woman, specifically like the after, the heartbreak, the confusion, it's not just a clean break. It never is, you know? I think this really hits the nail on its head, especially if you're queer. You'll just get so much more out of it. I was trying to get some steps in while reading in there. This is my pool. But like I said, the bugs are getting bad. Well, actually, I came here to journal, but I forgot a pen. So luckily I brought my book so that it wasn't like a wasted little pool trip, because I haven't really been at my pool yet this summer, just with my schedule and everything, which is crazy because usually I'm here every day. But yeah, the bugs are getting really bad, so time to head back home. I got it from Amazon. I'll link it down below, but this is like my go-to skirt for the summer. It just works with everything. Such a beautiful, quiet night outside on the patio that I decided to start my next read this time tomorrow. I will be honest, I took a little bit of a break. It's been over a week since I finished my last book, which was the novella Women. Loved it so much. I rated it 5 stars, and it's just one of those queer like classics that we definitely need more of. Last week was actually my birthday, and I had so much fun, but I was definitely very busy, and I felt like any time that I had to myself was meant to edit, catch up on work, do tons of other things that required my attention, and reading, it just got pushed to the back and it didn't feel important. But I got a ton of books for my birthday. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a birthday book haul in this video, and because of that, there's so many new books that I want to start reading, but I told myself I was going to read this one next because it's very birthday themed, and I just wanted to read it around my birthday. It's really good. I'm on chapter 4. I will say the chapters are really short, which I like. It's easy to get into a new book when the chapters aren't that long, but it's really heavy. I wasn't expecting it to be jumping right into the process of a dying loved one, and that's just like not the type of book that I want to be reading right now. But I'm not one to DNF a book, so I do have to finish it. Keep checking to make sure none of my neighbors are outside because I feel a little uncomfortable looking outside. But yeah, that part of it is really hard. Like, I don't really want to hear about it because I understand it a little bit too much, but I already really relate to the protagonist, lots of similarities, and I can tell it's going to be good. But yeah, I really thought I was going to be able to read more books this month, and I lost 8 days of reading, which could have been 2 books. I got some tattoos last week though for my birthday. It's really hard to see from this angle, and I just put Aquaphor on it, but I got a little 17. It's really, really small. I don't think I realized how small this tattoo was when I got it. And then I got my birth flower, which is a rose. I think this one is perfect. I love it so much. couple hours later, I went on a walk this evening after I read a little bit, and now I am making banana bread for the week. I think this was in a video a few months ago, but I tried making dairy-free and vegan banana bread and it did not go well. I definitely did a lot of research on the internet to try to find a recipe with like the best reviews that didn't seem to completely fail. Did not work. It just tasted like chickpea flour and chocolate chips. It wouldn't even cook. Like, it was so bad. For the sake of good banana bread, and for everybody in my life that was wondering why on earth I would do that, literally when I made that banana bread, Ashton was like, why? This is just straight up classic banana bread, not vegan. It is dairy free though. No dairy, but it's not vegan. I caved and I used an egg. Oh, and it's gluten, and there's gluten in it. That was the thing too. I tried to make it gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan. Did not work. There's definitely gluten in this, and there's definitely an egg in this. But for the sake of baking and making just a decent loaf of banana bread, I had to do it. So hopefully this recipe turns out. Oh, and I'm listening to Gracie Abrams' new album. So sad. Anyway, I am so excited for this banana bread this week. Let's get it into the oven. I cleaned up the kitchen. I'm just waiting for the banana bread to be done in the oven, but I wanted to show you some of the books that I got for my birthday last week. Since this is the reading vlog, I am so tempted to just screw my June TBR and start with all of these books that I got for my birthday because they're so exciting. I also did a birthday vlog. I don't know which one's coming out first, this or the vlog, and Marnie is all over the books. So if you've seen this already, here's a recap, and if you haven't seen it yet, here's a spoiler. Yeah, so for my birthday, Ashton and I went to a couple local bookstores and I got to pick out some books. Starting at Once Upon a Crime, which is a Minneapolis thriller and mystery bookstore. I was definitely looking for some specific reads here. The first thing that I found was The Girls in the Garden by Lisa Jewell. This is definitely giving like a summer thriller. I want to read this so badly right now. And then I picked up Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins because at this point I have just finished The Villa and I loved it so much, so I want to read the rest of her books. And then my first Frida McFadden book, well, I actually have one but I haven't read it yet, The Teacher. We'll see. And then the most exciting book that I got was Riley Sager's new release. I usually don't buy hardcovers, but the day that we went was actually June 18th, the day that this came out, and the independent little bookstore had signed copies. I had to do it. So I grabbed this. This is another really exciting pile of books that I got for my birthday. We went to Tropes and Trifles, which is a romance bookstore, and I grabbed Elsie Silver's new release, Wild Love. I love Elsie Silver's covers. I've never read one of her books, but I just know I'm going to like them. All I want to do right now is start Wild Love. I grabbed The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, just one of their many books that I would like to read. And then look, I got a little bookmark from the bookstore as well. I grabbed Allie Hazelwood's new release, Not in Love, and this is the special independent bookstore edition, and there's artwork on the inside. I've heard some pretty spicy things about this book, and it seems really short, where it's like, I want to read this right now, but I can't because I'm reading This Time Tomorrow. I don't know, should I though? Like, I could probably finish this in one night. And then I went to the Goodwill by my parents' location on my birthday, well, / Father's Day, because we did a Father's Day birthday barbecue and I have never been to that Goodwill by my parents' place, so I checked it out and I found something. I found Tessa Bailey's Unfortunately Yours. Is this a sequel? Because I saw TikTok the other night and it had this as well as Sincerely Yours, so is this a sequel to Sincerely Yours or Secretly Yours? If it is, I might have to wait to read this. And then the most exciting thing ever happened when I got home after my birthday celebration with Ashton. I received an ARC of Jodi Picoult's new release By Any Other Name, and I literally just died on my floor because I love Jodi Picoult so much. She is like my top favorite contemporary current author. Literally choking on air talking about this. To receive an ARC by itself is such a cool accomplishment in the book community that I've recently been like manifesting, but to receive an ARC from like an author that I've looked up to my whole life, that I would email as a child in high school, that I've read every single book by, is just like the biggest accomplishment to me and one of those like you made it moments, and I'm just so extremely proud and excited, and I'm framing the envelope that this came in. So of course now all I want to do is read this as well because this is the ARC, so it's not even released yet. Like the released version of this book comes out in August. But do you see my dilemma now? Because how could I possibly read what I was planning to read before my birthday when all I want to start is Wild Love, not to mention like Flawless and Reckless and that whole series. not in love, all these thrillers, middle of the night. Like, I'm gonna have to start tandem reading all these books. So that's my dilemma. Those are all of my new books, but I kind of just want to power through and finish this time tomorrow so that for maybe like as a little treat, I can read this next and try to squeeze this in before July. It's June 25th right now. Camera's on low battery, so hopefully it doesn't die on me, but I just finished part 1 of This Time Tomorrow. I'm about to enter part 2, and I sort of wish that the premise or the plot didn't tell you so much, because reading this completely blind, not knowing that she's gonna wake up thinking that she's 40 but really being 16 again, the way that it was delivered in here was so well done. I wish I could have read it without knowing that was the plot, if that makes sense. So I feel like when I recommend this to people, I'm just not going to include that. It would just hit so much differently, but I'm really enjoying it. Part 2 starts on chapter 17, and I have been saying, I mean, I see it everywhere my whole life, but I have been seeing 17 everywhere today. And not only is it chapter 17, but the last page that I just read of the last chapter, 71. Just little signs like that that tell me I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. But it is such a perfect June evening. The weather is perfect. It's warm but not thick. I feel like I know where this plot is going, but I also really like where this plot is going, and I just want to read it. I just want to finish it. I have so much work to do. I don't know when this video is coming out, but I am launching my own blind dates with a book on Etsy and TikTok, and I spent all day buying books for it and working. This plot just has me thinking about being 16 now and waking up as a 16-year-old again. I'm glad that I did choose to read this around my birthday because it is hitting different. So if you want to read this book, I recommend reading it around your birthday. Even though to me 16 wasn't as long ago as it would have been if I were 40, it still makes you see things differently and like remember, and I don't know, it's really cute.